your children have allergies, EpiPens are a life-saving essential. But as you well know, over the last few months, EpiPens have been in short supply. And now, with the new school year just around the corner, getting your hands on an EpiPen is really hard and can be really stressful. Dr. Dina Kulik is a pediatrician at Kid Crew and an emergency medicine doctor at the Hospital for Sick Children. Doctor, we've been hearing about this EpiPen shortage for a while. What's it going to mean for students heading back to school?
Well, certainly families are very stressed about this. I mean, obviously, kids that have life-threatening anaphylactic reactions to certain food products, that could be stressful going back to school when other kids are eating around you and you might be exposed to things that can cause you a lot of harm. So families are quite nervous about access to these EpiPens. The good news is that EpiPen Juniors, which are used for kids less than 30 kilos in weight, so most kids less than 10 years of age or so, those EpiPens are still available. So you can still find those at the pharmacies. So most kids are not affected by it, by the shortage. But we should be getting new EpiPens that would be good for 30 kilos or more quite soon, actually. Pfizer has announced that they'll be available in the next coming weeks.
Oh, really? Because Health Canada had said that they thought that this shortage could perhaps continue even into the new year.
Yeah, it's possible, and who knows who's saying what to who, et cetera. But I have had some patients being able to find EpiPens, but certainly EpiPen Juniors are available still. I've had some parents tell me they had to look at a few different pharmacies, but they are available by and large. And worst comes to worst, even if your child was a bigger child, using an EpiPen Junior, though less medicine, is still going to be more
better than nothing.
Yeah, of course.
So it sounds like you're hearing a lot of concerns and having a lot of conversations about this with your patients.
Yeah, many times a day, actually. Unfortunately, we have a lot of kids in the practice that have allergies, and it can be very stressful, absolutely. I mean, this is potentially life or death for a child. So making sure that your child does have an EpiPen on them, on their own person at all times, that is not expired. Parents should definitely be checking to make sure that the expiry date is not passed, of course. Some families are asking if the EpiPen says, let's say, August 16th on it, do I have to toss it on August 16th? The manufacturer is saying that to the end of the month is still okay, and EpiPens still have some functionality past their expiry date. You wouldn't want to be relying on that, of course, and if you can get yourself a new one, that's better. But, while the shortage is happening, a month or two past the expiry date is still going to be better than nothing. Again, a lower dose like an EpiPen Junior is still better than nothing. One thing I'm seeing a lot is families that are trying to get multiple new EpiPens, though the expiry date is not yet passed, almost like stockpiling. And I'm trying to discourage that because there's some families that need new ones that don't have new ones, of course. And to be stockpiling them is taking away from other kids that might need it as well. So
right, and contributing to the shortage.
Absolutely. They will be available at some point in the coming months, and if you have ones that are going to last the next couple of months, please don't be running out and stockpiling. At least your child should have two that are not expired, and please leave them for other people that might need them.
Well, that's right, because schools require, I remember when, my son who needed an EpiPen was in elementary school, and they take it, as well they should, very seriously. The child's photo up on the wall, the copy, one EpiPen in the school office, another that they want the child to be carrying on their person. I mean, with the pressure like that parents know is coming when they get back to school next week, what are you advising if parents don't have enough for those back to school requirements?
Well, as I mentioned, they should be on your person, of course. If not, then, most people are to find at least one of them. You can find an EpiPen Junior. Those are still available. Even if your kid is heavier than that, that's still going to be safer than nothing. And most schools, by and large, will have enough of them. Some kids, unfortunately, allergies are very common. So your school, by and large, will have enough of them some way, somehow. Ideally, it's on your person, but there's usually many, many EpiPens going around a school at any given time. And again, EpiPen Juniors are available.
Right.
So there's always going to be something, some form of it. And, if there's an allergic reaction that happens and an ambulance is called and EMS comes, they have alternative forms of epinephrine as well. So they're not relying on EpiPens per se, but they have medicine that they can draw up that's epinephrine. So there will always be access to something, but ideally, again, it's on the person.
There is a generic EpiPen that's just been approved in the United States. What are the implications of that, and how much that may improve this shortage, this situation down the road?
It's pretty scary that we're relying on one company to give us the medicine that's life-saving for all these kids. I think it would be so much better to have multiple companies or generics available. So if there is a shortage, we're not reliant on that one and single company. Who knows with tariffs and, there could be a problem with the manufacturing line. So many things can happen that recalls, et cetera. And this has happened with EpiPens and other forms of epinephrine before with recalls. So I'm very hopeful that every medicine for children and adults would be available in another form, whether it's generic or otherwise, so that if there's one issue with one company, we're not all waiting for that company to make more.
Great to talk to you about this. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Dina Kulik is a pediatrician at Kid Crew and an emergency medicine doctor at the Hospital for Sick Children.